Podcast. This is Rob. Joining me as always, the handsome Isaac and handsomer Patrick. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Uh, microphone crises and shit. Um, but I'm glad we got it figured out. It was a pain in the ass. We couldn't record last week. However, it wasn't the end of the world because we wanted to record this week anyway to get back on track for one of us. And yeah, that's about it. How was your week, Patrick?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. I was home this week, so nothing crazy travel wise, but just got some work done on the office and driveway. So they're going to pave the driveway Monday.
What was wrong with your driveway? I know we touched briefly on it earlier.
Oh, it was trash. So like they tried to patch it multiple times. There's like it was just falling apart going in the road. So we had it. I had it tore up and widened as well because it wasn't wide enough for two trucks or whatever together. It was kind of a pain when I had people over, but now it's wide enough for two vehicles next to each other and long enough for three more probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Hopefully, it didn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Oh, just some toes.
Just some toes. Just some
Yeah.
toes. What about you, Isaac? How was your week, man?
Oh man. I have a story for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Can you can you see my eye?
Yeah, I mean they're there.
You can't see like the redness?
No.
Okay. Well, it's very red. Um I went to the eye doctor this morning and just for like the normal like eye checkup thing and I have my glasses on, but I normally wear contacts. And she wanted to like do like the contact fitting or whatever. So she gave me the free ones they give you, and she's like, "Go put these on. We'll check them out." I'm like, okay. So I go over to the thing, um, and I have to take my glasses off to put them on, and I'm very blind, like I can't see anything. So I took them off. I'm getting ready to put the contact in. I grab what I thought was contact solution, poured
Oh
some
no.
in, put it in my eye,
It was
and started
sulfuric acid.
it started burning immediately, and I'm like, I think I did something wrong.
Oh no.
Jan
And she's
trying to
like,
jam
what did
your
you
head
do?
under
And I'm
the
like,
sink.
what is this stuff? And she goes, that's hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
Dude,
Ow. Ow.
dude.
Yeah, it was burning so bad. I was like,
Were you temporarily blinded?
So she like sat me down and was like washing it all out and stuff. I guess it's like this really good like cleaner that you're supposed to put your contacts in at night, and then overnight it like works itself, and then by the morning it's good. But you're not supposed to put it in your eye right away, which is what I did.
Mhm.
And it burned really bad, and now my eye is still like bloodshot red because of
I
that.
Well,
figured
it'll
I
be
figured you were also crying because of last night, so I didn't know.
I'm fine.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? The neighbors moving away or something?
Yeah, just my oldest was pretty good friends with their kid there, and they're just the father was a doctor, and they like canceled his contract, so he had to find a new job, and they're having to move to like the other side of the country,
Oh,
which
well,
it's just what happens. But the boys were pretty sad about it, so
they can be like pen pals and stuff, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we've been best friends for what 25 years, and we lived on opposite sides of the country at some point, and we were
it's
good.
true. Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yeah. So, but the rest of your week, okay?
yeah, yeah. Just got to deal with this eye thing.
Just the eye thing. Yeah, I don't. My week was it was something. I don't. Again, like I don't feel like I've had a day off from work this week. I don't think I have, but
Yeah.
because I even went in today, but it's we're having troubles with our labor cost, and I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know if it's they're actually full of shit and reading it wrong, the budget, because I can't see the budget. Uh,
Wow. Well,
I don't, this is the first director role I've ever had where I don't have access to the variance reports and stuff. Um,
how are you
so
supposed to fix what you can't see? What is
I
that?
know I'm just going by with what they tell me. So apparently I'm still a couple hundred hours over. So I have to start eliminating positions next week,
Great.
which I don't know how we're going to do that because if I leave or I get sick or something happens to my family or something, they're going to be fucked because I'm going to be working line shifts for a little while. And so whatever. I tried to tell him, I'm like, hey, all these kids we have for the summer are going back to school in like 2 weeks. Just get through it and we'll be all right. But anyway, I got a meeting with my boss on Monday that I'm not looking forward to. But he seems to always be nicer when the executive chef is there, maybe because he's not a director. So he can't pummel him as much as he pummels me into the ground. So I try to schedule the executive chef when I know I have meetings coming up, so he's also in on the meeting. So it isn't as bad, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I made a new friend. Her name's Katie. She's going to be joining us for the podcast one of these evenings. She also is into Pokemon and other things like that. So I think you guys will enjoy her. She actually just texted me. She was trying to get in tonight. I'm like, it's Isaac's topic, so maybe next time. And I'll have her for her first one come to the movie podcast or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, but she's all right. She's good people. We made friends, and now she left this week. Was her last day on Friday. So, eat that, Graham. I'm okay. So, no. But yeah, Isaac, you've been waiting for this topic for a little while, so take it away.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this episode for a few weeks, but all right. So before we jump right in, I want to start with a question for you guys. We like to go into we do a lot of histories, mysteries type thing, and my topics are always not mysteries, but they're like, I don't know what the opposite of a mystery is. History is like
Solved
Facts.
puzzles.
Facts.
Legends.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But think about some stories of ancient times that you've heard throughout history.
Aliens.
Can you think of any that you've always wondered if it actually happened or not? What are some ones you guys would think of from ancient history?
There are. I feel like I have thought about this before, and I feel like we only hear one side of things growing up when we're in school and stuff, and when we're older and can think for ourselves, they're like, this didn't really happen. This wasn't how it was. And but off the top of my head right now, I really can't.
But the younger Dryas,
Yeah.
What one thing I could think of is
the floods.
comes from the movie The Odyssey that just came out, and I always thought that they brought the Trojan horse in, and then they just waited for them to go to sleep and popped right out. No, they were in that bitch for a while, defecating in the corner and waiting for the opportune moment while all these soldiers huddled up against each other and shit. I'm like, ooh, that's not for me.
Yeah, that's a perfect example, Trojan horse, Atlantis, King Arthur, all these things that we hear about. But what about what about stories from the Bible? What are some ancient stories from the Bible that you've always heard of that are the famous stories that you think about?
Oh,
those?
Tower of Babylon.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
Well, I'm also pretty hip on this stuff now because yesterday I just bought Jesus Simulator on the Nintendo Switch.
I saw that came out.
I'm going through. When I saw that, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, okay, we've taken this a little bit too far, I'll be honest with you. I have never read the Bible. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've tried a couple times, and I just can't get through the verbiage and it's not Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's
yeah.
But
you've heard of stories like Jonah and the whale, though, right? Stuff like that.
Moses parting the sea and shit.
Yeah. You've heard of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The tablets.
The what one?
The tablets up on Hill Cumorah. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not that. Not those.
Oh,
tablets.
not that one.
The 10 Commandments, maybe. Those are on tablets. But here's a big one that comes up a lot: Noah and the flood, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes,
it's a big one. Because if you think about that story, it's massive. It's not just about Noah and the ark and the boat. It's actually about a worldwide catastrophe, right?
Sure.
According to Genesis, the entire earth was covered by water, the whole thing. So everything was destroyed, and only Noah and his family and the animals on the ark survived.
Mm-hmm.
So So here's what's interesting. A lot of people have like different opinions about the flood and what happened. Some people it was like think it's like, exactly like it was in the Bible. Some people think it's just a symbolic story or like an ancient legend. But what I was thinking about was like, are there physical things in the world today around us that we can look at that would like have, show evidence for this, that it wasn't just a story or tradition, but is there actual evidence that this actually happened?
Well,
So,
of the floods, or
yeah, the actual
oh
flood that
yeah,
covered the
dude,
whole
there's
earth, Noah and the flood. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the
So,
Younger Dryas, dude. That's like the pole shift, whatever the floods, like the whole catastrophe that's not recorded in like written history, but it's
yeah.
recorded in the Bible and biblical.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So I wanted to get into like what is like other than the story or the legend or whatever, is there like physical evidence that we can look at today? So I have 4 things that I want to talk about they're actually real that you can go look at right now in the world.
Okay.
is this going to be
So
the stones in Georgia?
Are we doing a Bible study right now?
Yeah.
no, we're going to talk about archaeology and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Give
So
me
and
wine. We need some wine.
yeah,
Yeah,
Scottish.
I'm actually gonna step away and grab some wine, but I can hear you the entire time.
But yeah, guys, just jump in whenever you have questions or whatever. We'll get through this. So let's start with one of the strangest discoveries in geology. And I'll start again with a question. So if you guys, you think, Mount Everest, right? You've heard of this mountain, Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in
Yes,
the world,
green boots. Yeah.
29,029 feet above sea level.
Hmm.
None of us have climbed Mount Everest, but if you can imagine what it would be like to climb it, like what are some of the things you would see at the top?
I told you, green boots. He's halfway up. He's a
That
dude
guy,
that
yeah.
died. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but no. Ice and
Yeah.
snow and
Snow.
erosion on rocks.
Rocks, exactly, yes. Would you expect to find fossils of sea creatures?
Unless they try to climb it? No.
But it's interesting because that's exactly what's there. There are marine fossils that have been discovered high up in mountain ranges all over the world, including Mount Everest. So we're talking like stuff like clams, corals, ammonites, other like these ocean marine fossils are found up in the mountains.
Okay.
And
Well,
it's not
what about the theory of what do you call that? Tectonic plates that push
yeah,
up and
yeah. Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
okay.
But we're not just talking about like a handful of fossils. It's like entire layers of rock that contain these marine fossils. So
Okay.
it's like everything from shellfish to ammonites, which is like squid things, and sea lilies.
Are,
And they're found in like the Himalayas, the Alps, the Andes, the Rockies, and even in the Grand Canyon.
let me ask
But
this
yeah, you're
question.
right. So what were you gonna say?
Let me ask this question really quick. What type of fossils, like from what period? Like which period in the history? Like, are they like a dolphin fossil? Or are we talking like what are the crustaceans, or like the period
Yeah.
like when the beginning of Earth, or
Yeah, well, you're getting into a different topic there, but it's the stuff
okay.
I've mentioned, like clams, corals,
Okay.
ammonites, that kind
Okay.
of stuff. Yeah.
Stuff that was around back then and around now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Um, yeah. So actually, in Mount Everest itself, near the summit, geologists have found limestone containing the marine fossils. So limestone is a sedimentary rock that forms in marine environments, which means these rocks were originally laid down when Mount Everest was underwater. And so there's no like disputing that. Everyone agrees these rocks were once beneath the sea. The flood point of view is that these creatures were buried in massive layers of marine sediment during the Great Flood. And as the floodwaters like swept across the continents, there was enormous amounts of sand and mud and sediment that buried everything pretty quick. And then the mountains back then, this was thousands of years ago, were not as high as they are now, just because of the way the plates move, like you mentioned. So they were still mountains, though, at that time. So the sediments came, and then the mountains came up, and then so you have all these fossils in there. So that would explain why we have evidence of ancient oceans in places that are now among the highest elevations on Earth. So, number 2, the
I
missing
don't
thing.
mess with shit in oceans though. Like there's stuff down there we don't even know, man. Like
Well,
have you
now you
seen
can't even
some of
climb
the
mountains.
have you seen some of the like aqua life down there? It's real
Yeah.
ugly and real scary.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
think I would rather go through the Nutty Putty Cave than down in the. No, that's not true. Never mind.
No way. No way. But next. So, next question for you guys: when an animal dies, what normally happens to it?
Well,
Decomposes.
yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, most animals, I guess, would leave a fossil, but most animals would also like decompose, like the dinosaurs, into oil or whatever they're saying made oil, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it'll decompose, or like scavengers will eat it or something,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the normal thing that would happen.
What's
And
is?
actually,
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, actually, most things that die actually never do become fossils because of decomposition and like scavenging and things like that.
Right.
Fossilization is actually considered a rare event because bacteria breaks it down, scavengers come along, insects come along, right? Rain, wind, and weather. And
Mhm.
given enough time, there's just not anything usually left. That's why fossils are actually pretty unusual. And it's because it means that something had to interrupt that normal process. So when we find places where there's thousands or millions or even billions of organisms that are all just buried together, that's something that we have to kind of explain. And one example of this is in the Grand Canyon, where there are enormous fossil deposits that contain countless marine creatures all preserved together in the same layer. And we're not talking about like one animal, we're talking about entire ecosystems. So like it's shellfish, corals, brachiopods, trilobites, other types of marine organisms are all buried together within thick layers of sediment. And this is not unique to the Grand Canyon either. Around the world, there's enormous fossil beds containing huge concentrations of organisms. There's some locations preserve like vast shell beds that are stretching for miles. Others contain fish buried in like by the thousands.
Mhm.
And there's like massive bone beds with dinosaurs and other land animals all buried together. Yeah, Patrick.
Did they find any fossils of like Kevin Costner and that little dude from Waterworld?
I've never seen Waterworld.
Oh,
What? Well, that's going to be
Isn't
on
it one of the worst movies
list.
of all time?
It wasn't that great, but
I think it's regularly on the list of like worst movies ever.
yeah.
so just so I understand, you're telling me that there's like fossils are found in groups instead of like one-offs, like one here, one there, that type of things.
Yeah,
Usually,
and yeah,
I know
entire,
nothing
like,
about archaeology, so I'm just genuinely asking.
yeah, entire like massive millions of organisms all buried together at the same time. Massive
Is that
field.
because we start digging there? There was a shadow person in the back of your room, Patrick.
What?
I think you're getting robbed.
What is it?
Hi, Michael.
Hey, Michael, turn around.
Why is he so tall now?
Look down.
Minion. Okay. All right.
All right.
Sorry. I was genuinely concerned for Patrick's safety.
No, it's all good. So yeah, there's these massive fossil beds, and the sheer size of these deposits tells us that something crazy happened, right? So here's the question: do you have any guesses at what kind of event would cause like burying all these things all at the same time? Like, what are some? Can you think of any reasons or what would cause that to happen?
Yeah. Like any type of like comet impact where all of a sudden they're buried instantly, type of things, or
Mhm.
flood would happen
But
because they'd all be buried
wouldn't
at
like a
once.
comet impact just incinerate?
Where it hits, yes, but
Yeah.
not like the rest of the.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like Grand Canyon would be right near the Gulf of America. So Gulf of Mexico, where they say that one of the impacts happened and
Mhm.
buried all those creatures and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something huge happened, right? The flood explanation is that massive amounts of water carrying the sand and mud and sediments swept across all the continents and buried all the animals rapidly before they could decay or be scattered. So instead of one animal dying here and there over long periods of time, what we see is like entire communities of living things caught up in some sort of catastrophic event.
And this is going
And
to
then,
sound really dumb, and I'm going to sound really stupid, but isn't it supposed like Earth used to be just like one big continent and it broke apart, right? Or
yeah,
something like that. Okay.
yeah, hmm
Could that
hmm
that is also probably tied to catastrophic events and like plates moving and stuff.
yeah, that's the normal moving of the tectonic plates and all that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So what happened is in if you subscribe to the flood theory is that powerful currents of the floods transported the sediment over enormous distances, burying the marine life on the seafloor and the land animals on the continents in layer after layer of mud and sand. And then the sediment eventually hardened into the rock formations we see today, like at the Grand Canyon and other places like that. So that's why we have these enormous fossil graveyards all over the world.
Okay.
So what this is called is rapid burial. This is what scientists call it, rapid burial. Massive ecosystems just rapidly buried by sediment, and that's what actually has to happen for them to become fossils. So that we know that that's happened, right? Because we have the fossils, so we know
Mhm.
rapid burial happened.
So
That's
that would be like if with a flood you have all the sediment that comes up through the waves and everything, and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So like okay, well, what do you think caused the flood? Like I 100% believe there was a flood,
hmm
like without a doubt.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're just reading through the Bible, God made a flood. If
Mhm.
you want to talk about like the science of how that happened,
Yep.
I mean, we could go into that. Um,
So there's like a couple different theories, right? You have the impact theory, which caused floods and basically the ice age, and then the melting of the polar caps and all that stuff. And um, but that doesn't really explain like you said, all of the continents having
mhm.
some sort of evidence of a flood, which is kind of odd to me that everywhere has evidence of a flood.
Yeah, it's the whole world. Yeah, yeah. And I think, yeah, that's the fourth thing I was going to get into. So we'll get into it a little bit. But the third thing I want to talk about is um, when you think about a deer versus a jellyfish. If they both died at the same time, who would disappear faster after dying?
Jellyfish.
Yeah, the jellyfish, right? There's no
Yeah.
bones, no hard shell. It's actually more than 95% water. So once it dies, it's just going to collapse and then it starts breaking down almost immediately. And in most environments, it can actually disappear within like hours or days. But here's one thing that's surprising. There are places in the world where fossilized jellyfish have been found preserved in rock. You have to think about like how unusual that is. Something that normally disappears so quickly, it like somehow became a fossil. That means that something had to interrupt the normal process of decay. And it's not just jellyfish. We find fish fossils with delicately preserved fins or like trilobites with incredibly detailed eye structures that are still visible. There are squids with fossilized ink sacs. I think this is the ichthyosaur, which I was going to talk about. This picture you just pulled up. You can find dragonflies with their like wings still preserved. Think about how thin those are.
Hmm.
The ichthyosaur is that. So what the crazy thing was the ichthyosaur picture you pulled up there, which is a marine reptile. So it's like a reptile that lives in the ocean.
Yep.
There's one that was fossilized while giving birth, like in the process of giving birth, instantly buried and fossilized. That's wild. It's like something like just like hit pause, right? It's pretty wild to think about.
Yep. It said catastrophic avalanche of lime mud. So it caused lime mud to happen and fossilize us instantly.
Yeah. And there's another instance or example where a fish was fossilized in the process of catching another fish to eat it. So like had
So
it in its mouth.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When they said the ink, some squids were fossilized with ink still in their sacks.
Yeah. So again, what would cause something like this to happen? It's the rapid burial, right? It has to be buried rapidly. So the flood model explains these fossils as moments where animals were suddenly buried by enormous amounts of sediment carried by catastrophic floodwaters. So instead of slowly being destroyed by the environment, they're sealed beneath layers of mud and sand. And now let's get into would you have?
I guess I never really thought about how fossils work. I thought, something just died and there it is. It's a fossil immediately. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, it's a little more involved than that, like a little more rare. So yeah, you were talking about the continents. If we zoom out a bit and look at like the whole world, like the rock layers in the world, like we were talking about. Think about if I like just dumped a pile of sand in my backyard, like how far would that spread? It wouldn't go far, right? It'd just be in the yard.
Right.
It'd like stay pretty close to where I dumped it. But when geologists are looking at the Earth, the whole Earth, they find something that's pretty surprising. And that's that there are sedimentary rock layers, the same layers that stretch across like enormous distances. They can go for hundreds or like thousands of miles, the same rock layer. And it appears across like multiple states. In some cases, it's across entire regions of continents. And it's all this like similar type of rock in the same layer and all the same types of fossils in the layer with similar characteristics, even though they're found like really far apart. So the question is, how could the same type of rock with the same fossils, like the same layer, be found over that wide amount of space? Like that's massive, continents wide. And if you think about like what sedimentary rocks actually are, it's rocks that are formed from layers of sediment, which is like sand, mud, clay, limestone, like loose sediment. And over time, those things harden into rock. So when you're looking at places like the Grand Canyon, you're looking at thousands of feet of stacked sedimentary layers that hardened over time. What's this picture you got here?
Earth composition.
Yeah.
I mean, but the separation of the plates and stuff that would mean at one point they weren't miles and thousands of miles away from each other, right?
Yeah, but it's still continent wide, right? Like
Okay.
if you go from one end to the other, it's still the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and when you're looking at these layers, some are only like a few feet thick, some are like hundreds of feet thick, but together it forms like an enormous sequence of rocks that kind of records events from Earth's past. Each different layer kind of tells a little bit of a story. So these layers exist. You can go look at them right now in the Grand Canyon or in places like that. And there's only one really good explanation for like the thin layers. So during the flood, the rising and the receding of the floodwaters would have transported tremendous amounts of sediment across the continents. Like the same type of sediment would have spread everywhere. And then as the waters slowed down and receded, the sediments would have just settled out in layers. So you'd have like sand and then mud and then limestone, layer after layer. And eventually those sediments hardened into the rock formations that we can see today.
I feel like I'm in earth science with Mrs. Willing all over again now.
This is earth science. Yeah.
You're not going to make me take notes, are you?
Man,
no, but I'm like
we
almost
tormented that woman. Really,
I didn't
badly.
actually have her. So
I know, and you were still in her class every day.
Oh man, yeah.
I guess I haven't really sat down and thought about rocks, like sensor science, and how everything.
Yeah,
I've been having like an existential crisis lately, and how my faith and everything, and what I believe, and just like I was atheist before, whereas now I'm leaning the other way because the whole concept of nothing doesn't make sense to me anymore, right? Something can't
Yeah.
come from nothing because nothing's nothing.
Yeah.
So it thinking of this too is like far beyond my scope of being able to think about it, but it's super interesting.
Yeah. I just really like science.
Yeah.
And I don't like when people pit like science versus like religion or God. I don't think it should be that way because I think they work together. They
That's
expand each
exactly what
other.
I was just going to say. They work hand in hand,
Yeah.
faith and science, and
Yeah.
it's the at the end of the day, people believe that their truth is one thing or the other. When at the end of the day, it's probably right in the middle. Between between how the science got affected or how the science got put into place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
hmm.
Exactly. But those are sort of my four different things. We have marine fossils on mountains,
Okay.
massive fossil graveyards, exceptionally preserved fossils, and then rock layers stretching across continents. They're all real things that we can observe today. They're studied by geologists around the world. No matter where you stand on the flood or what happened or what caused it, these geological features are real. The question isn't whether they exist, because they exist.
It's how they exist.
Yeah, yeah. If you do subscribe to the what happened in Genesis in the Bible, this is obvious. This is the flood, and this of course, what else is going to happen? What would you expect to find? This is what you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
these are just really interesting questions to ask because it's like real, actual evidence that we can go look at today. So I really like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I welcome anytime you have stuff like this to bring to the table because it makes you think in a different light, right? Of
Yeah,
sometimes like we were talking about earlier, we're taught things are one way and we don't really question it. And I think we need to kind of question things more for ourselves and find our own answers or what we believe in what happened, right? um, I know scientists, they're way smarter than I'll ever be, but I think sometimes there's a lot of bias.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Everyone has biases,
Mm-hmm.
and we always talk about how like we were taught one thing, but that's not how it really is. Like it almost seems like malevolent, like our teachers or whoever are out to get us or out to mislead us. And I don't think that's the case. I think
no.
that it just gets so reductive. Like people are trying to simplify everything that happened down to a single concept that you miss so much stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing about science, right? Like you continually learn about what happened and different things. I mean, God, what? How many years ago did we think the world was flat? And then some people still do, but
Yeah, Copernicus.
mhm. um, but so I'm going to be the devil's advocate here,
Sure.
which I'm not. But the so like the Harvard Gazette and other like sources have said like the world was a water world to start off with, right? That's what
Yeah.
the world was,
Mhm.
and then it completely, like soaked into the ground level, and the land rose. So would that explain like the trilocets and the what are those little fossils, the plankton things
Yeah.
looking guys?
Yeah. So you're saying like when the world was formed, it was just water and then the land rose out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's like a what is it, primordial ocean or whatever, or
Yeah.
some sort of thing, and that's I mean, we kind of see that, like you said, in everything. But
Yeah.
one thing that's different between your theory and like that theory is there's evidence of a flood more recent, right? Like the
Yeah.
timeline is completely different. We're talking 3 to
Right.
4 billion years ago for the
Yeah.
earth being all water.
Yeah.
And when was the Bible was what? How long ago?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point I was going to bring up if we actually got into it, which I'm glad you brought us there. Yeah, I mean, not everyone, but most people that subscribe to the Bible's record of history would say the Earth is maybe 7 to 8,000 years old, which is way different than what some scientists say. They're talking about millions and billions. But I kind of want to point out that if you believe in God and that He created the world, when you start at the very beginning of the Bible, it talks about how He created the world. He doesn't say that He started it from scratch, right? It says He spoke and the world appeared. So imagine if you were Adam, right? The first guy that was created. As soon as you came into life, you're a 30-year-old man, even though you had just been created, 5 minutes ago.
That would fuck me up, man. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd be like, just straight panic.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is age was built into creation. It didn't start at the beginning. It started after age was built into it. So if you cut down a tree right after it was created, you would count the rings and be like, oh, this tree is like 20 years old. There's 20 rings here. When in actuality, it had been created 15 minutes before. Age was built into creation. So I think that's where, scientists are like, oh, we've been here for millions and billions of years. It's because age was built into creation.
Okay. Do you think Adam was worried about his rib after a while?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have an existential crisis right now. Thanks, Isaac.
So well, let's talk about that too. So the whole story, like Adam was the first one put on earth, and then the Lord thought he needed a companion, and
Yeah.
so that's why he took his rib and created Eve. Scientifically, that doesn't really, but neither does the other theory, right, of evolution or whatever. That doesn't really jive either, because I don't know, you don't get conscious thought out of yeah
exactly.
So but I was on your whole flood deal. It's funny because I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was probably a crackpot, whatever. But do you know like the forest out in, is it in Washington, that has all the fossilized trees?
Is that Washington?
So there's a bunch of like fossilized trees out in a forest. Basically the tree sap, it's amber, and I'm trying to find it right now. So
is that where they got the Jurassic Park mosquito?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It was inside the amber. Yep, inside the sap.
Yeah.
The fossilized forest. It forms when ancient trees are rapidly buried by settlement, volcanic ash, or mud, cutting off oxygen and stopping decay. So same thing with everything else. But the theory of this is, when you start breaking apart fossilized trees, it looks like stone, right? It looks like rock.
Yeah.
And the far out crazy theory is these big mountains and like the sequoia, right? That they look like tree stumps. What if they were trees and they were knocked down, and then the veins are all rock? Because in the Bible it says that the Lord had people come down and cut the trees so the giants couldn't climb, right?
I don't know that story.
So the humans, and so he sent down angels or whatever, and had them cut down the large trees, the gigantic, massive trees. So the humans and the people at the time couldn't climb these trees and survive the flood. So that was part of the story.
Interesting.
So, but if you ever get to Arizona, the Petrified Forest National Park is really cool.
I lived there. What part of Arizona is that? I never got that.
You would say that. It is, let me see how to get to it. Directions and transportation. So it's down off 40 and 180 near Hollowbrook and Joseph City. And I was actually near there. Navarro.
It's way south?
Yeah.
Like Tucson?
GPS coordinates. Petrified National Park visitor entrance. Let me search for it in Google Maps. It is.
Man, this park does not look like it's thriving at all.
No,
It does.
no. It's to the. So it's basically, you know where the Hopi Reservation is, and it's northeast of Phoenix, so almost to New Mexico.
Okay, yeah, up that way. Yeah.
It's like you go up into Sun Valley, so you're going through that. God, I'm trying to think of the road that goes up through there because I went up there to do a 911 system at some random at Show Low was the name of the place. Yeah,
Mhm.
kind of cool, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting stuff to think about. And I mean, if you're following evidence, I believe it can only lead you to one conclusion. People try to come up with alternative explanations, but I think it's plain as day. There was a huge flood that covered the entire world and created all this stuff.
Yeah, but a flood doesn't create creationism, right? So that's
No.
where the scientific thing comes in. But everything that was written in the Bible, like we look at movies today, right? We look at the stories they tell and the true ones that are based on true stories and how they embellish and stuff like that. And the
Yeah.
Bible's kind of a written history of man, right? So like from the beginning, when men learned how to record what they saw, they put them into stories and things that people like Jukes would read, like dungeon crawlers. Because
don't call me out there because somebody is on book 2 right now, also in this chat. Not mentioning who.
oh,
I
actually I hear Dungeon Crawlers is one of the best books out there right now. It's book series, so
yeah.
But so it's kind of interesting to see how the Bible is written of all these stories and the history and the written history of man.
Mm-hmm. And on that book series as well, I think that it's very close to what actually happened. In this book series appears Uzi Jesus, so I'm excited for Isaac to get to that part.
Are we talking about the Bible, like New King James Testament?
I'm talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Jesus. I was like, Uzi Jesus. Well, maybe
like a rapper. Yeah. Sounds like a rapper, dude.
It does.
Yeah, you'll see. I don't want to spoil anything. He's funny. Anytime he gets summoned, he's like he hath risen. Narrating himself.
Yeah.
But that's super interesting, man. I'm glad you kind of brought this today. It gives me more to have a fucking panic attack at midnight about.
Histories, not so mysteries.
Well, the thing is, don't have a panic attack because even if it's for nothing, then what are you worried about?
Yeah.
And if it's for something, then even better.
Yeah, and I at the end of the day, it's I think, like I said earlier, so the truth lies somewhere in between, right? If there was, we go with science, right? And there was a Big Bang, and there was an Earth that was just water, and what put all of that into play? Because I don't buy that it came from nothing.
Yeah.
So, but that's a different topic for another day about existential stuff. So
it's unfathomable what.
I think that's like the problem I had with it recently that pushes me towards the Isaac end of things than the other side.
I don't personally. I don't believe there's nothing. That doesn't make sense. Like it was funny. I was watching a video the other day about they were talking about. Do you remember the CIA experiments? And I'll go into this in another story, but just a teaser. And it's from the video that I sent you.
Is this ICP. Project Orange or something like that?
No. This is from ICP, Insane Clown Posse, right? Uncle what's his face came out with this video where he actually proves God exists through the CIA documents. We'll talk about that in an upcoming podcast.
Oh man.
Well, our next normal episode in 2 weeks, I think I'm going to give the topic to my friend I mentioned to you about. Her name's Katie again. She is going to join us for a podcast, and she is, I think, looking forward to coming up with a topic. But if she's not going to join us, I'll let you guys know early, and then I think it'll be Patrick's turn? ? Or was it mine? I don't
No.
remember.
I think I did Hitler. Hitler
You
was
did
my last-
Hitler, and then there was after Hitler was
We had the fill-in episode of our card reading.
Pokemon,
And then this.
and then your episode, and then okay, so maybe it's mine.
It is.
All right,
So,
get ready for another mystery in history. Isaac brought us some factual stuff, and I'm going to completely illegitimate.
Oh.
What is the word?
Oh, wait a second.
legitimize.
Didn't they find Noah's Ark?
I don't
Look it up.
think
Look
so.
it up.
Did they? Someone probably
Um,
thinks they did.
Yeah. In all actuality, it was Bob in his backyard building a boat. You know,
There was a movie about it, dude. Steve
Really?
Carroll.
That was actually a
Carell
very
in it.
bad movie.
I know.
The-
It was
the-
very-
Do you guys know it took him like 40 years to build the ark, though?
Steve?
No,
He's pretty
Noah.
good. Yeah, he
Noah.
doesn't know construction very well. Oh, Noah?
I
Yeah.
No.
I
He
feel
was
like
building that
those
thing
Ocean
forever.
Gate guys were well on their way to finding the Ark. That's why they imploded.
Yeah.
Man, what a horrible way to go. Well,
So-
maybe not, right? Like it's instantaneous.
The floods?
No, I'm talking about the sub that was controlled by the Logitech controller that imploded on itself.
Yeah, it
No,
was not.
but
No, dude. So you say that was instantaneous? They lost power and they drifted down there, and things were.
Yeah,
crashing
no,
for, like,
the
hours.
fucking
Yeah.
the shit before that was horrific.
Yeah.
Like I would
Yeah.
hate that, but the actual implosion was instantaneous. So
Yeah,
that
That's
was a whole.
awful.
Maybe we'll do that sometime as a story. Yeah. You have anything else for us, Isaac? Or are we gonna play some Fortnite?
No, we can do some Fortnite.
All right. Oh, you sounded very sad about that. Is it your eye?
Yeah, I need to have. I have to like squirt this special gel in it
Mm-hmm.
to help it feel better.
To lubricate it and
Yeah,
moisturize.
make the redness go away.
Cool.
Oh,
Cool.
God.
What's our movie next week? I forgot. It's been so long.
Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait, none of us know.
I don't know.
I don't even remember whose
It was
pick it was,
yours.
to be honest. My
Oh
pick?
yeah, you picked Obsession.
Yeah, that's right.
Good luck, guys. Right. We'll talk. We'll watch Obsession and talk about it next week.
Perfect.
Let's go play some Fortnite. As always, be kind to yourselves, each other, and your insides. 'Cause Pizza After Midnight's a young man's game. Later.
Peace.
Until next time.